This company's gone from 16 to 175 million. When I got there, there were 24 employees, and now we have 110 employees. And of those 110, 75 are full-time selling and marketing people. Our business is based on the Bushman of Africa.
What's new is we have a mini Joe, which stands about 9 inches high now. It's for people that couldn't put a big Joe in their office.
Because Blue White goes to press less than 24 hours after each game, I get the inside scoop.
One gentleman donated $6.5 million to his fraternity. Our job's to facilitate that relationship, and that's tremendously rewarding. I was a student here at Penn State. I joined a fraternity my first year, and I was elected to not elected, kind of shoved the position of caterer. And in the fraternity world, that's the worst position you can have in a fraternity. And that's where I got a lot of my business experience, because in that position, they gave me $7,000, and they said for 10 weeks back then in the trimesters, they said feed 50 people for 10 weeks with $7,000. And so I was forced to learn how to budget. And at the time, I guess I was 18 years old, and it was a great experience because I had to do weekly budgets, projections, so we wouldn't run out of money. The caterers before always ran out of money in the 6th week, and then in the last 4 weeks, the students had to eat downtown all the time. And so that was my early challenge, and I had some good success with it just by being somewhat creative. We would have Italian night where we'd have violinists come in, and Syrian night where we had belly dancer come in, and from that, I guess I found it's not that tough to do just a little bit extra, and people appreciate it. And from that, I got some offices and became president when, at that point, they gave you a $40,000 budget. And then you worked with the caterers, and so I learned a little bit about management. But in my sophomore year, 1978, I came out with the t-shirt, Sooner or Later, Oklahoma. It got to the point where I was spending $10,000 a year in advertising in the Penn Stater, a lot of our mail order products. And so we created this, which is the Penn State football book. And within this book, what it came down to is we could create a magazine like this cheaper than we could advertising in the Penn Stater. And so this goes to 20,000 Penn State alumni, and these are active alumni who buy things, and we put our ad in this instead. So you can kind of see how a product developed out of a need because we were spending too much in advertising. And so now we advertise in that literally, for free, and also sell advertising to other people who help pay for the cost of the book. And then we turn around and sell the book for $4. And so I was in liberal arts. And, but that's a funny thing that you laugh about that, because my favorite course in liberal arts was anthropology. This was like world culture. I had to take. And anthropology, I think 45. And it talked about these Bushmen of Africa. I don't know if you had that course. And you say, how could that course possibly help you? But our business is based on the Bushmen of Africa. What they would do is they gathered in these little areas, and they would send the men out to kill the animal, and the men would bring back the animal, and everybody would eat in the village for a couple of weeks. And that's kind of what we do in our business. We send the salespeople out to go try to spear food for the week. And they go back and they get orders from the bookstores and stuff, and we come back and then we divide everything up and we eat for a week.
Inside plays, the hidden strategy, post-game reports, opponent previews, special features like Where Are They Now? And the last word on incoming recruits. And because Blue White goes to press less than 24 hours after each game, I get the inside scoop while it's still hot. If you're a Penn Stater, you have to subscribe to Blue White. Don't fumble your copy of Blue White Illustrated. Order a year's subscription, 30 issues of Blue White Illustrated for $24.95. Call toll-free 1-800-344-1010.
Have a good time at your tailgate party, you've got to have one person.
Hey, it's not me. It's Joe. Joe's pretty polite. He really doesn't eat a whole lot at your tailgate party.
Well, it's not really Joe. It's a life-size cardboard cutout of the coach, the creation of Greg Woodman.
Well, we wanted to capitalize, I guess, on Joe Paterno's fame a little bit, so we first thought of coming out with a mask, a Halloween mask, but I didn't think Joe would approve it, and so we kind of sat on the idea, and then it gradually elevated into the stand-up figure.
And the other great thing about this, Joe, is the fact that he'll never, ever argue with you. Listen, I think you should have played string the entire season. You should have gone with one quarterback. And I don't understand why you didn't accept the bowl bid this year. Jeez, what a disappointment. Joe can even help you burn your steak. Listen, I wanted mine medium, not well done. But the best part about Joe is the fact that when the game's over, hey, Joe's all yours to take home.
What do you do with 2,500 life-size cardboard cutouts of Penn State's famous football coach? Sell them, of course. And Happy Valley Promotions, the state college-based company that came up with the idea, expects to have little problem doing that considering the nationwide popularity of Coach Paterno in Penn State football. Once you buy a stand-up Joe, what do you do with him? Company owner Greg Woodman says that's easy.
Well, first off, we thought of the Penn State tailgates. It's you can always have Joe at your tailgate, and people get a kick out of that. And also, I was just at a wedding Saturday, and I brought Joe with him, and they dressed him up in a tux, and he was having fun at the reception. And have him in your office, Carol, and there's all kinds of things you can do with Joe.
Woodman says the idea developed out of a scheme to market Joe Paterno masks. That plan got as far as a plaster mold of the coach's face.
College Life poster is something I wanted to mention. That's a poster that we have sold nationwide to 35,000 students, and it's been on just about every campus in the country. And I think this best exemplifies that we know the college market. We're getting better at it. But what this is a cutaway fraternity house. And in each room, there's a different activity going on. And many of the funny things that I went through as a college student, George, who was a fraternity member, Tom Mosser, the artist who drew this, was a fraternity member. And we got the input of about 15 to 20 students, and we sat around, had a couple cases of beer, and came up with most of these things. And this project took 4 weeks to turn around, from the concept to getting all the input. And there's literally over 1,000 little people in there saying different things, doing different things. And like I said, this has been our most successful product nationwide. And that came out in 1983. Do a calendar like that. We could do greeting cards like that. It just shows that we have the ability to do things and reach people in California from our experience here at Penn State.
Have you seen Joe? Yes, Joe is showing up everywhere. And now you can have your very own Joe to go. Imagine all the fun you can have with your own stand-up Joe. You can take Joe to work with you. Have Joe at your house for this year's holiday festivities. He can even be at your New Year's Eve party. And Joe is so very easy to put together. Simply follow the self-explanatory instructions that are included with every Joe to go. Then Joe is ready to stand on his own. You can stand Joe beside your Christmas tree, in your front yard in place of your snowman, or even dress him up like Santa Claus. Yes, you can dress Joe in your very own clothes. Joe to go can be the fun at your upcoming holidays. And if you cannot find that perfect gift for that someone special, Joe to go is it. To order your stand-up Joe, phone 814-234-1610 or send $23 to Happy Valley Promotions, Post Office Box 1201, State College, Pennsylvania 16804. You can also pay for Joe by MasterCard or Visa. Joe will arrive at his destination very shortly.
With the 34-14 victory over Pittsburgh this weekend, the Penn State Nittany Lions have all but guaranteed a shot at Miami in the Fiesta Bowl. The matchup will be finalized only if Miami beats East Carolina Thanksgiving Day. But that if hasn't stopped Happy Valley Promotions from getting a jump on their competition and putting out a line of Fiesta Bowl paraphernalia.
It was a calculated risk, and it's a very competitive market, and so we took the gamble, and hopefully it'll pay off.
Several thousand Fiesta Bowl T-shirts, sweatshirts, and hats are already on sale around the university, with more on their way to the printers as demand grows. But the most popular item this season could be this $4 poster of the coach and his friend.
We always throw Joe Paterno in there in the Nittany line doing some various activity appropriate for the bowl. Last year it was Miami Nice, Joe Paterno looking like Don Johnson, and sold very well for us.
Welcome back. My guest is Mr. Greg Woodman from Happy Valley Promotions. Greg, thanks for joining us this afternoon. Now, you make a lot of the sweatshirts and paraphernalia that they have for fans. What is new this year? This is the big question on everyone's mind. What do you have that's new this year?
Well, what's new is we have a mini Joe, which stands about 9 inches high now. It's for people that couldn't put a big Joe in their office. They can put this right on their desk. And also, we have a lot of new sportswear designs. This one in particular, something new we're trying. It's a Penn State nautical design. It says Penn State proud, and these are nautical flags that spell out the word lion. And we have this Surf Penn State shirt, which is a Nittany Lion surfing in front of Old Main, and it's the Penn State Beach Authority shirt. And for children, we have Joe's Boys, and some of the things are the national champion airbrush #1 shirt, which is starting to die off as we get into a new season.
Now, you make most of these. How do you decide what's going to go on these T-shirts? What's going to sell? What's going to be real popular?
Well, we contact a lot of artists, and we show the bookstores, and we ask a lot of people what designs will sell. And then we come out with about 20 different designs, and then go from there, what is selling the best, and pare it down to about 10 designs.
Now, who makes the final decision on these? Is that yours?
The customer.
The customer.
We put it out in front of them, and what they buy is what we keep in our line for the whole year.
Who buys these? A lot of people will say just people in State College are buying this, but I understand you're selling them around the state, and basically you have a huge market, I would say.
Well, our motto is bringing Penn State to you, and Penn State alumni live everywhere. And so we sell to them through mail order, and most of our products now are sold in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. We sell right to the stores there. So the Penn State alumni who live in those areas can buy there, and they're buying it now down there as opposed to buying a lot of it here, is what we have found.
Now, this is not just something that the students then are buying or are interested in picking this stuff up.
The students buy quite a bit of it, but they also buy it for their parents and their little brothers and sisters. And so it's fans of Penn State and Penn State alumni.
So we have a whole generation of people wearing.
7,000 new freshmen come in here every year.
Now, also, aside from the clothing wear, you've got some other things that you guys promote as well, that maybe some people at home don't know about.
Yeah, for the Penn State football fan coming into town, we have the Experience Happy Valley Fall Guide, and it gives them a guide of what to do when they come into town. And
how do you get it? How do you get that? Where will that be?
It'll be in all the area hotels for the fans coming in, and we have it. It's distributed free, and we also have Penn State greeting cards and postcards, and so we get into all types of things. And
well, let me see that one again. I think that one said send money.
Send money. This is for the college freshmen, and they can send that home.
Send money.
It has a Nittany Lion
great.
with his pockets out. And for the freshmen, we also have the Are You a Penn Stater guidebook. And this list, and it has a description of 100 things to be an official Penn Stater. So for the freshmen coming in, they can train early and memorize your social security number is one of the things, or listen to an evangelist on the steps of Willard. All the little traditions that make Penn State the unique special place that it is.
And where do you get a copy of this?
In the bookstores.
In the bookstore.
In the bookstores. And for the national championship, we came out with a magazine. And here again, we sell this throughout the state and mail order nationwide for people that want to remember the season. It has a game-by-game description.
Company's gone from 16 to 175 million. When I got there, there were 24 employees, and now we have 110 employees. And of those 110, 75 are full-time selling and marketing people. And so our core competency is marketing. Our ad agency is outsourced. Our promotion firms that make all of our in-store displays is outsourced. So we're just a collection of brokers and hunters and gatherers. And that's what we do. We hunt and gather for new customers, and we listen to our customers, and they tell us what we want. We come back, and and we outsource to specialists who are trained at point of purchase, who are trained at shoemaking, who are trained at collecting money, who are trained at all facets of being specialists. So we're a company of generalists who do nothing but seek a new source of supply of specialists. I just wanted to share just some of the things we did from a sales and marketing perspective, which is, here again, the publishing training is heavy in telemarketing, heavy in direct mail. I mean, I used to, if you recall, some of you, I'd write you letters and charge $60 for a subscription to a newspaper. $60 for a newspaper, that's insane. But all the energy that would go into crafting that letter, you learn a lot of discipline. How do you get $60 out of someone when they're used to paying a dime for a newspaper? And so now, having a tangible of a shoe, well, you get a shoe. And, we sell it to you for 30 and you turn around and sell it for 60. You're doubling your money. It's a tangible. And so from the direct mail, from telemarketing, we have hired a bunch of very enthusiastic young people on the inside who specialize direct mail, telemarketing.
Every alumni group needs the exact same thing. They need consistent communications, accurate data, accurate record keeping, and the tools and the people to keep it going year in and year out. And that's what we do at Affinity Connection. My background was in consumer brands, where there's Nike, Apple, BMW. You're part of that community. You're part of that affinity group. We're now transferring a lot of that marketing philosophy over to true membership-based groups, and we work with over 200 alumni interest groups. One of the great success stories is Beta Theta Pi at Penn State, where one individual gave $6.5 million in the largest single gift to any fraternity. Our job is to facilitate that relationship, and that's tremendously rewarding.
Building communities of loyal members. Revitalize your organization with Affinity Connection. Call us today at 1-800-598-4050.